Yes, sir.
Saurabh, you have
Yes,
to
sir.
start today. Yeah?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm giving you the presenting rights so that you can start it up. Saurabh, who else is in your team?
So Meghna Dhuria and Navya Singh.
Okay. Meghna Dhuria and Navya. Yes. You may carry on, Saurabh, with your presentation. I hope you are a presenter now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And along with rest of your two colleagues. Yeah, that's great. This is my favorite color, let me tell you. Carry on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Saurabh Yadav, and my friends Meghna and Navya are going to deliver a presentation on topic restriction on non-cash payments, prohibition on forward dealings, and key managerial personnel. Before I move on, let's discuss the first topic that will be discussed by Meghna.
Good morning. I'll be presenting restriction on non-cash transactions involving directors. In this, I'll be discussing Section 192, which was introduced in Companies Act 2013. It's a new section. It was not there until now in Companies Act 1956. The section deals with the restrictions on non-cash transactions involving directors. So there are three distinct things over here. One is director. So the question comes in which director. Second is a non-cash transaction. So non-cash transaction we understand which is not in cash but consideration other than cash. And third, what are the consequences? Change the slide, Saurabh. When we talk about the directors, we talk not only about the directors but the person connected with him. So it could be either a director himself or it could be any person connected with him. And it could be a director of a company or its holding company, director of a subsidiary company, director of an associate company. Directors of a company can enter into a non-cash transaction which can only be twofold. One where director is selling some asset, other where director is buying some asset, which effectively means from a company's perspective, a company could either purchasing an asset or transferring to the directors. In case these happens, these provisions are attracted, and if not, what are the consequences? Let's see. The prior approvals in general meetings of the company are approval from the company itself, the holding company where the director is not where the director is there or the person connected with him. Notice for approval includes details of the arrangement and value of asset as calculated by the registered valuer. It is these things are valued prior the general meeting of the company where the asset that has been in the transaction of the company.
Yes, continue.
Sorry, sir, there is just a disturbance.
Okay, it's okay. Yeah, read the point right from the beginning.
Pardon, sir.
Yeah, start right from the beginning.
So could you like third slide, please?
Yes, Meghna. This is, I think, the next slide, I suppose.
This one.
Yeah, Saurabh.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
No company shall enter into an arrangement by which a director of the company or its holding, subsidiary or associate company or a person connected with him acquired or is to acquire assets for consideration other than cash from the company. The company acquires or is to acquire assets for consideration other than cash from such
Now,
director or person.
Meghna, my
Yes.
question is, why this provision has been introduced? As you said that this was not there in the previous company law, it has been introduced newly in this company law. Can you imagine why has this happened? Means what is the background of this? Why it has been introduced? See, there is restriction on non-cash transaction involving directors, and you might have listened about that. Even for the loans from the director is also not allowed.
Yes, sir. So
No?
maybe there are possibilities that they could misuse
Yes.
it,
Yes,
misuse the
absolutely.
cash.
Yes. I just wanted to think you in that way actually, that why it has been introduced is the genesis actually totally you can say depends on what has been happening in the recent past, particularly regarding these provisions,
Yes,
which though were prepared in order to facilitate the company, but has been misused by the directors, those who are at the fiduciary position, or you can say the position which of trust, and it's a public money again. So
yes, sir.
directors, where they were having restriction on taking loans by the directors or guarantees by the directors, which has been drastically misused by these directors, and they have just taken the benefit of the legal entity of the company for their own personal benefits. Now, when even there was restriction on loan from the director, loan by the directors from the company, at the same time they started taking undue advantage, or you can say non-cash things from the
Yes,
company itself at the name of the company. Means that let the thing be at the name of the company, let the company purchase the car, and the shareholder is using it, or your sorry director is using it. So that is again something, very questionable, that facilities are facilities, may it be in name of anyone. Suppose for example you are having your car, or your scooter, or your motorbike got purchased by your father, but you are using it, hardly matters who is using it, but it is being used, it is being depreciated at the cost of whom? At the cost of the shareholders, at the cost of the hard earned money of the shareholders, who have with the utmost faith they have invested that money in the company, not for the personal use of directors, but for making money out of it. But if they are using it in this way, then law has to do something with it, right? Meghna, continue.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Second point.
So no company can enter into an arrangement by which a director or a company or its holding subsidiary, associate company, or a person connected with him acquires or is to acquire assets for consideration other than cash from the company. Now,
Company.
one or the other way they show it as if they are doing something for the company, but not taking cash. They are taking a consideration other than cash. Okay,
Yes, sir.
carry on. Yeah. Second point.
Yeah, second point. Saurabh, second point. Yeah.
Yeah.
The notice for the approval of the resolution by the company or holding company in general meeting under subsection 1 shall include the particulars of the arrangement along with the value of the assets involved in such arrangement duly calculated by a registered valuer. In this, the value of the asset which that has to be that has to be taken into the transaction, the value is calculated, and it is only calculated by a registered valuer, not by anybody else.
So the subsection 1 actually provides you that there is a restriction. I think subsection 2 you skipped, Meghna, on the previous slide itself, which says that it can be done, but it can be done only by a registered valuer. Just go on the previous slide, Saurabh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the company acquire or it is to acquire the assets for consideration other than cash from such director or person so connected, unless prior approval or such arrangement is accorded by the resolution in a general meeting. Means if it is the money of the shareholder, shareholder must be having a power to decide upon it. So if in the general meeting it has been resolved, then it can be done. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, carry on.
So from this only or third?
Yeah, now this talks about the resolution which you have already told.
Yes,
That
sir.
there should be a registered valuer and the value should be calculated, and accordingly, why it is happening? Because sometimes the assets in the company are transferred. Those benefits should not be foregone. Are you getting my point? So that's why if it is done with the registered valuer, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. If it is done with the registered valuer, then he will be able to evaluate that consideration which is other than cash. Okay, and the transaction can happen. Carry on.
Yes, sir. Any arrangement entered into by a company or its holding company in contravention of the provisions of this section shall be voidable at the instance of the company.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You explain this now.
The restitution of any money or other consideration which is the subject matter of the
So
arrangement
what
is
about
no.
this the third point which you have studied?
Yes,
Just
sir.
now we have.
The transaction that has
Any transaction which has not been done in compliance with subsection 1 and subsection 2 of section 192 shall be voidable at the instance of the company itself. Now, why at the instance of the company? Because company is aggrieved. Who is the aggrieved party over here? Now, if you remember in the voidable contracts, which we have studied in the Contract Act. Now, if you remember coercion, undue influence, misrepresentation and fraud. So, four things are voidable at the option of aggrieved party. Aggrieved party means that party which is suffering from loss, or where there is a chance that it may suffer from loss because of such contract. So the aggrieved party may make the contract void. So in this case also, where the company is at loss because of the company's stake, these all non-cash transactions are being going on. So it is totally voidable at the option of the company. Now, unless what? Now, what are the conditions? Go ahead. Unless A. Come on, Meghna.
yes, sir. So the company can company can make this transaction voidable, but not in the following two cases where the company is compensated for loss by any other person. Suppose a company sold a machine for 100 and the company costed 100 and the company sold it for 80, and then the loss is 20 and it is compensated by the company, and in that case a company can not make the transaction void.
Yeah, one or the other way, the theme is that company should not be at the loss because of the consideration other than cash done by the directors. Getting?
Yes, sir.
So if any loss is there, if it is made good, then it is okay. Then it is fine. Otherwise, then it will be, otherwise what will happen? Otherwise, it can be set aside by the contract can be set aside by the company. Next.
Any rights are acquired bona fide for value and without notice of the contravention of the provisions of this section by any other person. Sir, in this right acquired of value and without notice of contravention of these provisions, suppose person enters into a contract and he was not aware of the provision, and in that case it cannot be considered voidable at instance of the company because he acquired the right of value and is not aware of the contravention of these provisions.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Carry on.
Yes, sir. I would hand it over to Saurabh now.
Thank you, Meghna. Excellent presentation. Good. You have prepared well, but somewhat more preparation would make it more polished and better. but you have
Yes,
done a
sir.
very good job, Meghna.
Thank you.
Thank you for this, and keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Continue. Yes, Saurabh.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yeah, surely. Carry on.
Yeah. Before I carry on, can anyone tell me that which section Meghna referred to right now in Companies Act 2013?
Excellent.
Let's
Anyone?
see who all were attentive.
Excellent. Very good, Saurabh.
Anyone over there can tell me which section did Meghna was talking all about? Which was
Naman Jalan.
introduced this year.
Naman Jalan, please tell. Naman Jalan is not there. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Shreya.
So 192.
Very good. It was about section 192, which is there in the Companies Act 2013, and which was not there in Companies Act 1956.
Now let's discuss further prohibition on forward dealing in company security. In this topic, we will discuss about the forward dealing transaction and the legal provision prohibiting them. In section 194, the Companies Act 2013 says that it prohibits any director or key managerial personnel to do any forward dealing in company security. For example, Mr. X is a whole-time director in PQ Limited, so he is prohibited to do any forward dealing in P Limited. Now let's understand what is actually forward dealing transaction means. Forward dealing is a kind of contract wherein the price and the quantity is determined at the date of contract, but the consideration and the delivery of security shall take place in future date. For example, Mr. Y and Mr. X. For example, Mr. Y and Mr. X has made a contract on 1st January, and over here the price and the quantity is determined on 1st January. The condition is that the transaction shall take place on 31st March, and the time period is between 31st March of January to 31st March. Over here, the X holds a right to receive the predetermined price at a predetermined value, and Mr. Y holds a right to receive this. Mr. Y holds a right to receive the delivery against this predetermined number of shares. It is a simple basic contract when the contract has taken place on 1st January and the consideration has done on 31st March. Now let's look when there is no specific date mentioned. What will happen then? When the contract has taken place on 1st January and the date of transaction has not mentioned, then X has two rights basically. Over here, X has a right to give a notice to Mr. Y a day before 31st March or 2 days before 31st March. X can determine the number. X can determine the date when actually they want to make this transaction happen. If X fails to give that notice, Y gets the right to deliver the shares on the last day of tenure, that is on 31st March. Note that over in this kind of transaction, no one has the right to cancel it. Now the third example would be when the third example would be when Mr. X has an option to purchase. Note over here, Mr. X has two rights. First, to determine Mr. X has two rights. First, to purchase the share or not to purchase the share. Over here, Mr. Y has a no right. He cannot force Mr. X to purchase the share. Over here, Mr. X has the right to call for the delivery. Over here, the word right to call for the delivery is very important in coming up slides. Make sure. So this would be an example of call option agreement. Now let's look further. When Mr. Y has an option to make for the delivery. Over here, Mr. Y has two rights to call for the delivery or not to call for the delivery. Over here, Mr. Y has a right to make the call for the delivery. Over here, the right to make the call for the delivery is an important term which will be discussed in further slides. There's one more thing that both can also have this right. Section 194 prohibits any director or key man.
Add something over here. Now, why it is so? Why these things are restricted for the companies? Means in the company's share itself, the insiders or the directors of the company, or you can say KMPs of the company, cannot just do a forward dealing. Why it is so?
Sir, actually, if they cannot do the forward dealing because just let's take an example. They plan to buy some kind of securities in the company when they know that it's gonna be the least price, it's gonna be the lowest price, and they decide to make a contract on that day, and the price when increased, when the market value of that company increased. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Saurabh, I want to ask why and how would they be able to know that this particular price is the least price? Because price is decided by the market, and they are not governing the market. They cannot just influence the willingness of the purchaser or the willingness of the people, those who are dealing in the securities. How come they will be able to know that?
But sir,
this is the least price of the company, or this is the highest price.
they control. I believe they control the organization, so they have a little bit edge over what is going to happen in future.
Yeah, you have answered it very correctly and very good. That though they are not having the influence over the market, but they have influence over their own share price, right? So they better know that what may be going to happen in the near future. For example, the company might be thinking of entering into a merger and acquisition with other company, right? So when the merger and acquisition will happen, at that time the price of the price of the shares of that company will come down at that moment and will again rise. So what they will do, they will book the things in at the lower price for the future and make their own profits. So this is wrong. This is totally against the public policy, right? So those people who are innocent enough, those who are having no knowledge and they are investing in the company, they will be hurt. Or this is something which is making money, right? This is something like making money at the cost of others. Okay, and that too from the open market where everyone is treated equal. That's why such type of restrictions are there, particularly for the directors and the insiders. This is sometimes, and if it is done so, then it is called insiders trading, which is a criminal offense even. Okay, so this is the background of what you are saying, but you have said very correctly and explained very well. Yeah, carry on with your presentation, Saurabh.
Yeah, Section 194 prohibits any director or key managerial personnel to indulge in any kind of forward dealing in their company security or in its holding company or in its subsidiary or associate company. Over here,
Why in all these three companies, Saurabh?
Yeah.
Why in all these three companies?
Yes, sir. I'm just about to tell that. Over here, we already know what's an holding and subsidiary company. Anyone can tell me what actually means associate company over here?
Ashutosh Bharshi. Yes, he has gone. No, only 5 attendees are there. Karan Agarwal, can you tell? Karan Agarwal, what is the associate company? We have just studied it 2 days before. Associate company. Ishpreet. Ishpreet, associate company. Okay, what is a subsidiary company?
It is related to the subsidiary company. Now Karan Agarwal has also gone. Yes, Ishpreet, any idea about, or you can Google, Shreya, you can also Google. What is the difference between associate company and subsidiary company? Anyone? Come on, come on. Yes, Shreya. Something 20% or something like that was there, Shreya, if I remember.
Yes, sir. 20 to 50% share
Yeah.
holding.
Absolutely. So if the shareholding is more than 20% and if it is less than 50%, then it will be called a associate company. Okay. And if it is more than 50%,
It will be,
then
sir,
it will become.
just to, actually it's not 20%, it is 10%. It can be directly or indirectly, that too.
But I think previously, I think it was 20% only. Because if you are having a 20%, means if one company is having a 20% holding in another company, it will not be called as a subsidiary, but it will be called as an associate company.
Yes, sir.
You check it once again, Saurabh. Is it
Okay,
10%
sir.
or 20%? Check it out. 10% is very less. 20 to 50%, I think, is an associate company,
Yeah, so
and as
20
soon as
to
it becomes
50%.
50%, it becomes.
It is 20 to 50%.
Yeah. Yeah. Carry on. Carry on, Saurabh.
Yeah. So let's take an example. Mr. X is in whole-time director in PQ Limited. So he cannot do forward dealing in PQ Limited, holding of PQ Limited, subsidiary of PQ Limited. Over here, I found a bit of lack of clarity over associate companies, which I will clear out in further slides. Why I am saying this point over here.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good.
Now, section 194, subsection 1 says that no director or a company or any of its key managerial personnel shall buy in the company or its holding, subsidiary or associate company. Clause 1, a right to call for the delivery or right to make the delivery at a specified price within a specified time of a specified number of relevant shares or specified amount of relevant debentures. Over here, if all of these points are applicable, all of these points are existing, then he cannot do any forward dealing. Clause B says that there is a right to elect for the call of delivery or to make the, over here, he has a right. He has actually both the rights. He can select any one of those. He can make the delivery or he can make the delivery at a specific price. I just bit confused. Sorry. A right as he may elect to call for the delivery or to make the delivery at a specific price within a specific time and a specific number of relevant shares and a specific amount of relevant debentures. Over
Yeah.
here,
Now, Saurabh, here these
yes,
2 points, if you see it keenly, one point is related to which is called future contracts or forward contracts, and another one is the options which you have just now told. When there is a
yes,
right to elect whether to do it or not, then it is an option. You are having option, right? So B point is regarding call and put option, and A point is regarding the forward or the future contracts, right? So these subsections actually tells about the both of the contract which you just now have discussed. Excellent, very good, you have clarified it.
yes, sir. I can also, like, let's now just look for the better understanding. Let's look for the difference between these two. Over here in clause A, it is only single transaction. It can be either right to call for the delivery or right to make the delivery. In section 2, it is both. It can be there are both things available over there, and it is up to the director which he is gonna elect. So
Perfect,
let's,
perfect. Carry on.
yeah. Over here, we discussed about two things, relevant debentures and relevant shares. What do you understand by these two words? Anyone? It's just a basic thing.
Yes, straight
Okay.
difference between shares and debentures.
So relevant. What does relevant means? We all,
Relevant. Okay. What is the meaning of the word relevant? Because relevant is having a lot of relevance over here.
So
Yes, Saurabh, you tell.
Yes, sir. Section 194 has a proper explanation for this relevant shares. Now let's look for this purpose of this for the purpose of this section. Relevant shares and relevant debentures means that the share and debentures of a company in which the concerned person is a whole-time director or KMP of that share and debenture of its holding company or subsidiaries company. It means that in whichever this the director and the key managerial personnel is there, and in their company there would be its relevant share or relevant debentures, in the simple word. Now I just said earlier that over here it's the legal definition which is written in the Companies Act. Now over here you can look, the associate company is missing. This is what I want to point it out earlier, that over here securities of associate company is missing. So what can we say? That are they allowed to buy the relevant shares of associate company?
Yeah, Saurabh, this is a good point. So what you have found out of this?
Sir, I didn't find out anything about it. What I can conclude is that it is just part of it. So if the heading says that it is not allowed, so it won't be allowed if it's not written in the subsections.
Yeah, because here holding and subsidiary might be including the. But you have very good observation, Saurabh. It's I think mistake of the law itself.
Yes, sir.
But explanation is lacking this word associate, so this should be there. Very good caught, Saurabh. I will talk to my people though in the ICSI regarding this flaw in this section. Let us see what they say. We'll get back to you on this definitely. But for the time being, you just consider it as a part of the subsidiary itself, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
as
sir.
you are saying, because it is restricted for associate company also, because one or the other way the price of the shares of the associate company will also be getting affected if its parent company, that is the holding company, is actually going with certain transaction. Okay, so one or the other way it is going to be affected. That's why they might have skipped it over here, otherwise it would have been there itself.
No, sir, I was just in that case, it is all in Companies Act. It's a very big thing. If they just missed out the small, they can take a use of it.
Well, it can be misused, Saurabh. It can be misused, and some people might have done it. But one more thing is there. It's just a part of the explanation. In explanation, it is not mentioned, but in the section it is mentioned. So I don't think it would have been misused. But in explanation, it should also come. That is one contention.
Very good.
Yeah. So penalties, section 194, subsection 2 talks about the penalty. If a director or key managerial personnel of the company contravenes this subsection 1, such director or key managerial personnel shall be punishable with an imprisonment of term which may not exceed more than 2 years, or with a fine that shall not be less than 1 lakh but may be exceed till 5 lakh, or it can be both of those things.
Yeah, totally depends on the severity of the offense which has been done. Yeah, carry on.
The last topic of section 194 subsection 3 says about the obligation and restrictions. Where a director or key managerial personnel acquires any of these securities which are contravened by subsection 1, he is already punishable under subsection 2, but he is also liable to surrender to the company, and company shall not register those securities acquired in his name in this register. If they are in demat form, it shall be informed to the depositor and not record in such acquisition and such securities. In the both case, it will continue to remain in the name of transferee.
Now what happens? What is the relevance of this particular the clause? The relevance is that if you remember, the company is having an option to avoid the contract, right? It can devoid, or it can just the contract is voidable at the option of the company itself. So if such things are found, then what step of the company will make it voidable? This is the step which will make it voidable, that the person has to surrender the shares to the company, and it will be acquired at the, it will not be registered, means the transaction or such transaction will not be
considered as a complete transaction. Okay. If it is in a demat form, then the depository will be informed not to register the transfer as such, and if it is in a materialized form, then the company will not register the transfer. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, excellent, Saurabh. Very good presentation, and more important, the way you have explained the forward and the futures. Let me tell you, this is not an easy topic. Forwards and futures, explaining all these things is a bit difficult. Anyways, so thank you and excellent work, Saurabh.
Yeah. Now I would like to invite Navya for the rest of the explanation of rest of the topic.
Fine.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon, Navya.
Now I would like to present my topic, which is Key Managerial Personnel under Companies Act 2013. As we all know, key managerial personnel we have studied many times and many students have presented this before. I would like to just go in brief that what is key managerial personnel. Now, every company has top managerial personnel who take decisions and are responsible for functioning as well as growth of the company. The bigger company, the bigger responsibility of board of directors. In such a scenario, number of actions and functions are performed in a company on daily basis, and for more smooth execution, board of directors appoint some officers who are expert in their field depending upon the scope of company. For example, board appoints officers like chief executive officer, manager, managing director, company secretary, chief financial officer, as well as these officers who may or may not be directors of the company but holds a top managerial position in a company are responsible for work performed under their directions. It should be noted that as a company are governed by Companies Act 2013 and rules made thereunder being amended, substituted, modified, omitted or otherwise from time to time, key managerial personnel are responsible and liable for the most of the wrongdoing done in the company. Now let us go through some important questions relating to key managerial personnel. Who are the key managerial personnel? This question can be divided into two parts. First part says that as per section 2 subsection 51 of the Companies Act 2013, a key managerial person in relation to a company means a chief executive officer, managing director or the manager, the company secretary, the whole-time director, the chief financial officer, as well as such other officers not more than one level below the directors who is in whole-time employment designated as a key managerial personnel by the board, and such other officers may be prescribed. Second part says that as per section 2003 of the Companies Act 2013, specified class of company shall have the following whole-time key managerial personnel: the managing director, CEO, manager, and in their absence, a whole-time director, company secretary, and a financial officer. Next question is, which companies are required to appoint key managerial personnel? As
Now
per
go on
section...
the previous slide, Navya.
Yes, sir. Saurabh, next slide.
No, this only.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What I want to say is, if you see it very keenly and carefully, who are
Yes.
the persons who are common in these two?
Sir,
Company secretary,
yes.
CFO, no?
Yes, sir.
And even a whole-time
Managing
director, which is by default, is
Yes,
there in
sir.
both.
Yes.
Okay, manager, managing director, only one type of persons, such officers not more than one level below the director, who is in whole-time employment, designated as key managerial person by the board, right?
Yes,
Or
sir.
as may be prescribed. So prescribed is very, very wide. So this can be prescribed anytime. Getting? But these people, they have to be appointed by the board of directors. Means they have to be designated as a key managerial personnel for the companies. KMPs, they must be appointed, designated as a KMPs. They may be a one step down than the post of the director. Some people may be there, those who are means one level lower, and they are working in association with the director. Sometimes they are held responsible. Why? Because they are experts of their own way, in their own way. So directors sometimes, make them responsible for certain things. At that time, they cannot shed their responsibilities saying that, okay, we are not a key managerial persons. So to have a clarity, such person must be properly appointed by the board of directors as a KMPs, right?
Yes.
Carry on, carry on.
Yes. Next slide. Which companies are required to appoint key managerial personnel? As per Section 203 of the Companies Act 2013, every listed company and every other public company having a paid up share capital of rupees 10 crores or more shall have the whole time key managerial personnel. Next slide. What are the roles and responsibilities of key managerial personnel? So they have some roles and responsibilities as they are working on the management positions. They have to implement important decisions which is their main roles and responsibilities. As per Section 170 of the Act, the details of security held by the key managerial personnel in the company or its holding subsidiary or associated company should be disclosed and recorded in the registrar of the books. They also have right to be heard in the meetings of the audit committee while considering the auditor's report. However, they do not have the right to vote. Whereas, according to Section 189 subsection 2 says that key managerial personnel should disclose to the company within 30 days of appointment relating to their concern or interest in other associations, which are required to be included in the registrar. Thank you so much, sir.
Excellent. Very good. You have covered almost all the things. So
Thank
life itself has no meaning. Life is an opportunity to create meaning. Meaning is not to be discovered. It has to be created. Excellent. Who has written this?
you. So, Saurabh.
Saurabh, you are very creative and let me tell you that you have leadership qualities also. Okay, and these type of thoughts are discovered and are adopted by good leaders only, right? So you had this opportunity, and even I never knew that you are new to the class even. Right from the day one you are attending all the classes. I hope I don't think you have missed any of the class. I don't think so. But by mistake there are three absents in the beginning. So because I have already updated it in the attendance, it cannot be corrected. But don't worry, means your rest of the attendance is taken care of, and there is no marks as such for the attendance particularly. So you will not lose anything. Hope that will be okay, Saurabh.
Yes, sir, it's fine. Actually, I won't be present from next some days. I would be like taking off.
Don't worry, we will mark you present during
Yeah.
this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So any question from anyone in the class, though there are only 4 more attendees and including your own team, if you want to ask me anything, you are free to ask me regarding this particular presentation which we just had. Nothing? So
No, sir.
anyways, we will just, I will take the attendance and then we will depart for the day. So present in the class are now 6 people only. 3 are attendees and 3 are presenters. So Shahid Chauhan and Shreya. So one more thing, because I was a bit late. There might be some other people, those who have joined and might have left. I don't know, but Shreya will be having a knowledge of those. So all those should also be considered. Shreya, please consider everyone for the attendance today. So you have also downloaded the
Okay,
file, I
sir.
think. You have downloaded the file, Shreya?
Today's file, sir. No, sir.
Shreya, have you downloaded the attendance?
No, sir. But I know who were all present.
So just mark present to everyone, right?
Yes,
Whosoever
sir.
was there. Okay, and
Yes, sir.
that is
Yes,
all.
sir.
So let us just depart for the day. Take care, all of you. It was I hope you had a very good vacations and a very good celebration of Diwali and the other festive things. And sorry for disturbing you on this festive day too, but we had to take some classes because that is a part of the curriculum, and we are going to end it up soon. So that is the reason why I have just asked you to just come up today itself. Anyways, thank you to all. Thanks, and soon this
Thank you,
recording
sir.
will also be available. All the recordings of all my classes taken are available on the internet. You can see it. You can, if you want to watch it for your final exams, that can always be done. Right? So YouTube link has been shared to all of you. So that can be done. One more thing is there. So according to your roll number, you have to prepare 100 words just of the lecture, whatever has been delivered. So there are 38 students in the class, and 39 lectures are to be to be written as a gist. So one or two of you may write two gist of some of the lectures. Right. So take care. Have a nice time. Okay. Bye bye. See you. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Happy
Thank you,
Diwali.
sir.
Have a nice day, sir.
Happy festive. Thank you. Bye.
Yes. Bye.